Hey, welcome back to another episode of Fishing is My Summer Job. So, this past week, Thursday, decided I was going to sneak out before the storm patterns hit. It has rained nonstop since I got off the water, and the water is totally blown out. When I hit the water, it was almost clear, and then I hit where this creek dumped in, and this is what I got the rest of the way down. I started off fishing with a fly rod. I switched up to the one spinning rod that I've got, and I found out two things. Number one, they were hitting ploppers. And number two, I need to oil that reel. And you can see here, this one here, a small one hit. Got probably 9 or 10 fish. It was a little slow, but this river normally fishes better at night than it does in the morning or early afternoon. And I was off before I normally started. So had a really good time on this float. Now the water was murky and the current was up. There were some places where, as I was casting, I stopped, and some places I just drifted to get through dead water. There were some nice fish in the dead water areas. As you can see, this is a decent fish. That 15, 16 incher is what I basically was finding. Usually the big boys and girls don't come out to play till later. If you notice, sometimes I'll be fighting a fish and the boat sort of stops. I've got a quick set release on my anchor, and it's on a quick cleat. So if I need to stop and fight a fish, I can drop the chain that I use for dragging, keeping the boat straight. For those of you who don't fish rivers much, if you've got just a little piece of chain you can just tick on the bottom, that'll keep the stern of your boat into the current, helps you to keep the boat straight a lot better. So as you can see here, I switched up to black. The water was dirtier in this area, so I figured I'd bought this black. I'm using the Berkeley version of a whopper plopper, so figured I'd give it a shot, and like I say, I could hold that fish closer to the lens and make it look bigger, but it was about 15 inches, no bigger. Now this spot, you can't see it, but there's a giant log field off to the left where I'm casting that starts up above where you can see, and it goes down a ways. And what I like to do in this area, if the water's clear, is throw jigs or work a streamer in and around it if I'm doing the fly rod. But today I couldn't see the logs because they went in the water and it's just black, so I'm just casting up next to the bank. It's actually undercut there with logs all over the place. It's a snag waiting to happen unless you're fishing topwater or something really weedless. And I'm just making a variety of casts trying to fan the area. Here I put this one up next to the log. Now I don't want to catch the other, so I'm going to reel it a little bit faster, come up and around. And again, that reel needs some oil. I'm going to do that today. This next cast is kind of interesting. I put it about perfect right where I want it, and it gets tangled. It's not doing its normal whopper plopper, so I kind of jerk it like you would like you're walking the dog with a Sarah spook, and one comes up and hammers it, and this is a good fish.
Lakers. That's a big smallmouth.
Now, it didn't end up being as big as I thought it was. That murky water tends to always make them look bigger. But I've marked out on my improved tackle crate, the yellow pieces are 16, and if you go all the way across from yellow to yellow, it's 20 inches. So I know those two measurements and kind of estimate everything from there. Losing my measure net is sort of a bummer on the trip on the Sabo, but that's the way it goes sometimes. This is the nicest one I had to film. The opening segment, I actually caught a 19-incher.
About 15.
That opening segment where I'm
15
right
inches.
After the title. And then my GoPro went dead, and I missed the whole fight in the land, and luckily I took a picture. Here's the only one I caught on the fly, and it took that popper deep. There's another nice one from during the trip. That's the big fish right there for the trip. So, hey, thanks again for tuning in. The river is completely blown out for, I'm thinking, another week. So I'll be doing walleye fishing for sure as soon as the rain stops.